Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Right, so the messages that I've been given this week are around judgment. And what they said was, we already know, they've told us that there are many changes happening, and we know that, don't we? We're experiencing them. And we also know that they have told us that these are going to increase and intensify, and that everything is speeding up. So how can we navigate these without getting involved in judgment? Because judgment is a low vibrational energy, and so we want to avoid that as much as possible. They said that we need to accept that our truth is not the same necessarily as somebody else's. If I look over here, it's because I write down the things that they say and the messages they give during the week. If you haven't watched any of my videos before, you may not realise that. So an appreciation that our views, our background, our experiences in the past, and the things that are driving us as well, whether they be our needs or sometimes our fears, sadly, which is also a low vibrational energy, but comes into our lives from time to time. Well, for each of us, these things are not the same. And where we each sit on our soul's journey is not the same. And that's okay. That's okay. So an acceptance of that is important, is absolutely vital, and is kind of the linchpin really of the central point of how to avoid judgment. But they asked the question, what does that mean in relation to self-love then? And where the differences between us and somebody else, or the things that we see, the situations that we're put in as we go through these changes, mean that our needs and our welfare is not being met, and we're not feeling looked after. Okay, how can we look after our needs at the same time as not getting involved in judgment? So they said it's all about opening the heart space and keeping the heart space open. So we have to have an open heart if we're going to hold space for the views of others, especially, and the more so, we strongly disagree, or we are really impacted negatively by the situation that they're putting us in, or the views that they hold. And of course, this happens most notably perhaps on a macro level. So some of the decisions that are made in the places that we live have a direct impact on our life. And so on. And again, they said this will increase as the changes become, the shifts in energy and the changes as a result of the dichotomy between light and dark become much more glaring and much more obvious. This will play out on a much larger level, and we're seeing that, aren't we, in the collective? So yeah, so going back to what they were saying, it was about opening the heart space and holding space for those views even when they do impact us negatively, and allowing other people, their views, their feelings, their experiences, okay, and acknowledging their needs without judgment. Now, the problem usually is that, sometimes we feel like they said, like a wrung out rag, sorry, just got a call come up there, and this usually happens when we're not getting the same in return, so we may feel as though we're doing all of the giving, okay? And they said, well, there is no need to force anything or fight anything. All that that is going to do is increase negative energy, okay? So they said when somebody or a situation is immovable, and we are impacted, well, they've really given us the information that we need, okay? They've given us the information that we need. They are unable to hold space for us in return. We simply state our truth and then leave it there, okay? So there's a time to walk away. There's a time to walk away and just leave the truth with them, okay? Because usually we know, don't we, if we stay and we fight and we try and change another person's mind, the kind of, as I said, the negative energy increases, and actually we both get thrown into that judgment state, and other negative energies as well, and negative emotions come out, like, well, definitely fear, which is usually the driving force behind these things, but also anger, jealousy, those kinds of things, rage, spite, they all come out. And then all that happens is our vibration is just lowered and lowered. So it's really important to, even if the other person is not holding space, okay, that we do so, speak our truth and walk away. Now, what of the bigger picture, going back to that, and the world stage, you know, the views and judgments are shaping of others are shaping our environment and our everyday lives in new ways all the time. And they said, you know, is there a place for fighting there? Was the question. And to answer that, they said it's the same principle really, but it can help to remember that we have to be the change. We have to be the change. And remember that everything is energy, okay? Remember that our job is to stay in the light, okay? And to bring light onto the planet and into the collective. And we can't do that if we get involved in fighting and we get involved in judging, because that is lower vibrational energy. So we are not going to be able to hold enough or a large amount of light if we're putting ourselves in that kind of energy, okay? And we're spending our time there fighting the darkness. The only way to fight the darkness is to give out light, okay? And lastly, they said, you know, accept the change. Going back to the original statement at the beginning, you know, accept we all have different truths, accept that you are in a period of change and that change is for the greater good, okay? So although it's painful and in the short term we may feel, you know, so many people are not getting their needs met, you know, so many people are being damaged by what is going on, because as there's more light coming onto the planet, the darkness shows itself and wants to fight and drag the light in with it. But it can't do that. Just have faith. Have faith. Okay, so it's trying really hard, but it's not going to win. In fact, it's already lost the long game. So have faith in that. Have faith that these things will pass. And eventually, it's a bit, okay, they're saying to me now, just right now, they're saying to me, it's like a birth. It's like a birth. Think of it like that. Yeah, there's an element of pain to bring new life. And this is what we're going through at the moment. And it is painful. So focus on the new life and the birth and what we're birthing on the other side of this, okay? And just really try, all of us, not to get judged, not to get dragged into judgment and fighting and low vibrational energy, so that we can shine that light, okay, and help everybody truly in the truest way possible. Okay, so, right, that's a very encouraging message, but I think personally, I found that very pertinent because, you know, many of us do care. We care a great deal about the things, the suffering that we see on the planet. We care a great deal about the people that we love in our lives. And, you know, we don't want to have arguments. We don't want to have conflict, you know, and we want everybody to be happy and comfortable in the world. And it's really distressing. So those feelings are all real. And of course, it's only natural that we want to, you know, sort of get up and do something about it. So I felt that was a really pertinent and meaningful message for me. And I hope that many of you do too. Okay, so I'm going to go into channeling now. All right, so I'll just sit back and we'll see what they've got to say. Sometimes they have a little bit more to say that will come out first in the channeling. And sometimes they just go straight into codes. So I believe that the codes today are around letting go of judgment. Okay? Okay. Ele se kapkhaya na khaya la shakanto shakantaria pala sekatataria tushtatata kantala satariata. We want you to know that we know that this is a big ask. But you are strong. And with the light flooding in, you are becoming stronger every day. Sometimes you will manage it. Sometimes you won't. Do not judge yourselves either. Every moment is a new moment. We will begin. Ele bakhaina khayana khoyana khaya ole bakhaina khoyana khayana khayala ole kale sa khoyana khonama ile se ko bakhaina khoyana khayala khaya kinga ela kinga lo so ko bakhaina khaya la satakato ela sakala la to Ele se kapahune shede kate kantala shete tetara brotin kintele se katatala shata kantarayata a brotin kinte sheleta kantara matoro matala sakatara tarara a prata tekele se kata a what to what to what to daraba what to daraba tara to katara to shapa a rete ke shele seta A gruppo conto shampaka, arrea, a conto shokampala sekateasha. A fusta purampata shusta, e propicante shela sa cantaria purampata catela e propicate, aha, o shokantatara, e me la socontatare, e to compatala, e te shetekele, e secche. Arut tu shakantaria sata kantaria sa rut ku shakantaria sata kantaria pruam pruatare terra takashata pruemengela sakantela sayara riamoya yana kaya sayaya olomokaya nala saya kanana ya ele sekatana ya Uya le shekete ya la sasha. Aproya po kontosha. Aproya kantasha le sekete ya. Aproya sakasha. Aprepe kete kente le shekete shaya. No proya bele sekete ya sheteria porea patala. Wa sekente shele sekolo wata. Wa le seke shekente la seketo tono wata. She compropete. Pruea pakantala sete ario purapati. Pre te kasha. Atala ariata konto shete terea. Elu atakete peche katala. Pre. Pruiti kite sheteria. a protikite sheteria, e protokete sheria, 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 e la terra, 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 terra. E la lua, lua, lua. De koto shemete kelese, ele ma, pe, me. Sua, 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 sua. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to say actually before they started, it was about judgment, but also opening our heart space, which I believe they talked about. Yeah, so good. Well, hopefully that will help all of us in these really difficult times that we are in. So yeah, thank you to them. And as always, you know, if you feel in your heart you can, then do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can put a notification on there, I believe, as well. It's a bell, I think, where you can then be notified when I do post things. And like and share as well, so other people can benefit. And if you would like an individual session with me, you can do so. Just get in touch, either email me if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're in contact with me on Facebook, then you can message